I tried to read through Eric Reid's statement. I got caught up in the middle of something, but I did appreciate the fact that he hired somebody to read it for him. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, you're banking on that person having your best interests at heart. So a lawyer, an agent, will they have the best interests of their player at heart while reading through the CBA? I think so, actually, because they're the ones that are going to ultimately negotiate the deals, which are going to potentially benefit from that in their own pockets. So, I mean, you always have to wonder who you're getting information from. When you watch TV, whenever you're hearing information, you always have to assume that you're not hearing everything. You're just hearing that person's version of what they want you to hear. Now, he must trust these people to go through it. And the conversation that Dylan just brought up from Harlem was a good one because what are they accounting as revenue? Right? That's the big thing. They're splitting revenue, 48.5%, 48% to 51.5% to 52% to the NFL of revenue. That's just TV revenue. I don't think that's merch revenue, sports gambling. I don't think that's every body sensor data that you can get. I mean, there's a lot of data and revenue that they can get. That's a conversation that's going to have to be very, very deep. And also what Eric Reid's lawyers did put in a statement, I think it was like line 4 or line 5, is that the 17th game, unless they get 50-50 split, should be non-negotiable. The players have, this is where they said that the players have all the leverage because if they don't want it, they don't want it. But I think in this case, what I've learned through this entire process is the NFL has all the leverage. I mean, it's just the way it goes. They control the PR. They control what gets leased or released. The fans are always going to be on the owner side because the owners are going to be in the city long after the players are gone. The players just look like guys that are, spoiled. And I think fans hate hearing about this. And I thought about this morning. I think fans hate hearing about the CBA conversation because the fans, football is a game. Football is a sport. Football is a sanctuary for them whenever they get a chance to watch their team that they've loved for a long time play against another city's team that they've hated for a long time. Football is a sport they played in high school, either for their high school team or in a backyard with their friends. Football is a sport. It's a game. It's fun. Whenever the CBA negotiations get brought into fans' faces, it's business. This is what the NFL actually is. And Nick made the comparison is nobody wants to know what's in a hot dog. They just want to enjoy what the hot dog is. That's what this is. Rookies in the NFL, second-year players in the NFL, they just think this is a game. You get a check. Oh, you get cut. It isn't until they're being negotiated about that they realize that the NFL is a business. And for players, they know that it's a business once you experience it. And for fans, they don't know until something like this happens in front of their face. And they're like, oh, we don't care about it. I don't care about what percentage who gets. I just want to watch the games. Tell these players to stop being so selfish and stop being so spoiled. Take what they're given. You're lucky to be there and just play. And it's like, well, I understand that's where your mind is because you don't want to hear about what the NFL is, which is just a billion dollar business that just so happens to be revolved around an incredible game, an incredible sport that you played as a child. But this is much bigger than that. It's more than a game. This is a lot of money on the line and a lot of health on the line, and that's why it's an important conversation. But if I'm a fan, I can understand why fans are like, I don't give a single damn about this. It's like, well, this is the future of the league that you so much love. If you want to see things like the XFL forever exist, it's because the NFL exists, and that's just the way it goes. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code PAYTHEBILLS and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic.
Do you think the lawyers had to say no to cover themselves so they could, like, when it comes out, if it's a yes or no vote and players are super mad, they could always say to Eric Reid, like, we thought that you were worth more.
Yeah, big spin.
If they say yes and then it's a bad deal, then it comes back on them. Like, why did you say yes?
Well, and for future players, right? They're like, oh, you were the agents that said this was a good deal. Everybody's telling me it's a bad deal. Yeah. Automatically they're in a bad deal. They could have never said yes to that. And by the way, I think agents' job is to beat up deals. Like that's their jobs are to pick apart deals to see what the flaws are. So I understand what Eric Reid and the agents are saying. And I understand where some of the players who have built the NFL, who are OGs of the NFL, been around the game for a long time. The Acho, Sam Acho, I believe his name is. Yep. He's running for NFLPA president. Russell Okung has dropped out, so this guy seems like he's going to be president of the NFLPA from a player's side. He talked about how 65% of the NFL, which is obviously a majority of the NFL, is the bottom half of the roster, right? The bottom almost 3/4 of the roster. Those guys are on minimum salaries. Those are guys that are getting cut. Those are guys that would love another game check, another game opportunity to earn a contract and stuff like that. But in my eyes, you also have to take into account the guys that play 10, 8, 11 years, things like that, because those are the names that build the NFL. Those are the legacies that continue. And right now, the NFL knows that they put together a deal that 65% of the players are going to say yes to, and the other 35% who are those big-time players are not going to love it, but they don't care because it's going to get passed with 65%.
Yeah, I mean, those guys are the ones who, in part, are making the league so profitable.
Yep, not in part. That's like when we were at the Pro Bowl, and I saw, at the Pro Bowl, that's where all the guys are that make all the money in the NFL, right? For the NFL, in the NFL, and I'm just punting balls around them. But you see like Drew Brees, J.J. Watt, you see these guys, and they're just walking through the hotel that wasn't just blocked off for the NFL players. There was another convention happening there. I'm like thinking to myself, like the NFL, these dudes make all your money for you. You can't just get them maybe their own section of a hotel for this Pro Bowl. You got some random drunk, some white drunk running around there. JJ, look, Kuechly, I love you. Take a photo. And I'm watching it like, if Roger Goodell knew that this drunk could potentially spill his glass onto Drew Brees, this is something that you have to take care of those top guys because they're making all your money. But without that lower 65%, there's no league. So it's an interesting balance here. The NFL wants there to be a little bit of a split decision. They know that this is going to get passed because 65% will say yes, but this is intriguing business. We're learning more and more as we go on, and we'll all find out a lot. It's Saturday night, 11:59 p.m., whenever the CBA is officially voted on by the players. 456 pages. 456 pages.